Lions roaring in the morning sun, searching for a longer day. People feeling like the light has just come. We must never stop the way, yeah.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today my name is CORSET. If you are seeing my video for the very first time, you are highly welcome to this channel, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. So on today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys how to draft corset that does not show the breast. Yes, corset actually cover up the boobs to an extent. A lot of people don't sew corset because of the fact that corset actually reveals the breast whenever you wear it. So there's actually a way of drafting it to cover your breast. You can see I have my French curve, I have my straight ruler, and I also have my drawing tools here. So these are the measurements we are going to be needing for this tutorial. Okay, so that is it. So guys, let's just get started. You can see I already have a straight line here, which is going to be my starting line, and on this straight line I'm going to go ahead to take my shoulder measurement divided by 2. Okay, so you're just going to take it there, then you are going to come down by 0.75 inch. Okay, then you're going to come here and mark 3 inches, then you come down and mark 3 inches as well. So that's for the neck width and depth. Now I'm going to connect my shoulder slope. So you're just going to place your ruler on it, and you're going to connect the shoulder slope to meet that point. Now with the help of the French curve, I'll make a U neckline here. So after doing that, you're going to take your tape and you're going to place it on this line, this straight line, not the slanted line but the straight line. Okay, you're going to place your tape there, then you measure to the bust point, which is 9.5 inches, then you take it to the under bust, which is 13 inches, then you take the half length, which is 16 inches. If I were to be sewing a crop top, I will end at the half length, but I'm sewing a blouse, so I'll take the full length, which is 21 inches. So I'm going to come to this side and mark exactly the same thing, then I'll connect the dots. So guys, after doing that, you're going to come to this line here, this slanted line, and you're going to go down by 7 inches, which is going to be our armhole depth. Okay, then you're going to measure your shoulder measurement divided by 2 just to get it right. Then you're going to go ahead and connect it. So just connect from that point to meet this point, then you roll it out like this. So guys, now after doing this, now I'm going to go ahead to label it. This is the chest line, this is the bust point, this is the under bust, this is the waistline, and this is our full length. Okay, so now that we are done labeling, the next thing I want to do now is to come to the bust point. Okay, you're going to come to this bust point and you're going to take your bust span measurement divided by 2. That's the nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. You take it on the bust point, take it on the waistline, and you also take it on the full length. Then you're going to go ahead and connect it to rule a straight line. So after rolling that line, guys, the next thing is I'm going to come to this shoulder line. I will be dividing what I have here into 2. So just divide what you have there into 2 and get the midpoint of it. Now you're going to connect from that point to meet the bust point, just like this. Now after doing that, the next step is to come to the bust point. You're going to be going down by 1 inch on the bust point, then you go to the full length and you go up by 1 inch. After doing that, now you're going to come to the waistline, then you're going to take ½ inch on both sides of the waistline, just like this. Now you're going to create the dart. So guys, after doing that, now the next step is to come to the under bust line here. From the dart line that I have, I'm going to be extending out by 0.75 inch. If you are someone that is bust 30 to 32 inches, go ahead to go out by 0.5, but for my case I'll be going out by 0.75 on both sides. Then I'll come to the full length and do the same thing, go out by 0.75 on both sides. Now I'm going to go ahead to rule the straight line. So guys, after doing that, now I'm going to connect from this point to meet that 1 inch that we came down by. So you're just going to use your French curve to make a curve just like this. Then you do the same thing to this other side. So guys, after doing this, now the next step is actually one important step of this video, is I'm going to be getting the chest line. Okay, so this is actually what determines how much of your breast is actually going to be exposed. So in my measurement, the chest line is 6.5 inches. This totally depends on you. So when you're taking your measurements, you have to determine where you want the cup to cover up your breast to. Okay, so you're going to get your chest line. So this line here is our chest line where our cup is going to get to. Now I'm going to measure the distance of what I have here. It is 2 inches. I'm going to be dividing that 2 inches into 3. So I'm just going to fold my tape to divide that 2 inches into 3 accurately. So you can see what I'm doing, guys. I'm just trying to fold it to give it lines. You can see now I have 1, 2, 3. I'm going to come to this chest line here, this upper chest line. Then I'm going to be giving one of that 3 that I have to the part that is the center front. Then I'll be giving 2 to the part that is the side front. Guys, I hope you understand that. You can see when you measure what I have now, it is 2 inches. So one of the 2 inches divided into 3 to the parts coming to the middle and 2 to the parts going outside. Now you are going to connect it to meet the bust point. So guys, you're just going to do this. Just look very well and so that you understand what I'm doing here. So just connect it to meet the bust point, just like this. Okay, so guys, after doing that, now the next thing I'm going to do is to get the gap that is in between our breast. So you can decide to maintain the initial chest line that we have, or you can choose to come down by ½ inch. Okay, this is the initial chest line. So on that initial chest line, I'm going to be coming down by ½ inch. Okay, so I'll come down by ½ inch and go in by ½ inch as well. Then I'm just going to rule a straight line to meet the bust points, just like this. Now I'm going to be using the curve ruler to make a curve to meet that point. But before we do that, there is something I realized, that whenever I sew corset, one of the cup always end up becoming longer. So I'm just going to be measuring the curve of each of these lines now, and anyone that is shorter, we are going to be replacing the difference so that we'll have the same thing. So I have 7.5 there, and here I'm just going to measure it to see what I have. Okay, so you just measure it well so that you get the right thing. So I have 7 here, I have 7 here, and I have 7.5 there. So the difference between the one facing the side and the one in the middle is actually ½ inch. So I'm going to be adding the difference to the shorter one. So I'll just add it to the shorter one like this and extend it just like this. Now I'm going to go ahead to connect it to meet this point. So guys, that is it for that. You can see how it's looking. The cup is already forming. Now I'll do the same thing to this other side. I'm just going to go ahead and connect it. So make sure that your French curve is actually sitting straight, okay, so that you have a nice cup. So you're just going to go ahead to align it well, and you will draw it just like this. Now to create the other curve, I just realized that I didn't draw the armhole before I started drafting my corset. Can you imagine? Well, it's not bad, we can still do that. To do that, I'm going to be dividing my armhole depth into two to get the midpoint. So it is 7 inches divided by 2, I have 3.5. okay, then I'm going to be coming in by 0.75 inch. Now on the chest line, I'm going to take my bust measurement divided by 4. okay, you make a mark there, and with the help of the French curve, I'm just going to, connect the armhole. I'll make sure my curve ruler is sitting on the dots that I made. Okay, just like this. That's all. Now that we have done that, the next thing now is to create this other curve. So you can see the gap I have from that line. I'm just going to be dividing it into 2, okay, to get the midpoint of it. Then you come down by ½ inch as well. Then you're going to be ruling it out. So I'm going to be making use of the marker here. So just rule it out to get a new chest line. These are new chest line now that we are making use of. So now I'm going to connect this to meet that point. So guys, after doing that, now the next thing is to connect from this point now to meet the underbust. So when you are doing this, you have to be very careful. Don't bend your French curve to be looking like this. If you do this, your cup will not come out nice. It will make your breast be flat when you wear the corset. So you're going to make sure your cup is sitting straight while you are making this curve. You can see how curvy it's looking. So this is how it's supposed to be. So I'm going to go ahead now to label this 1 and 2. Now the next thing I want to do is to go ahead to take all the round body measurements. Okay, so I'll come to the new chest line here that I have, and I'm going to be taking the bust measurement divided by 4. So I have it here. Then I'm going to measure what I have on this line. I have like 1 inch difference there, so I'm going to be adding it. Then I'll add extra 1 inch for the sewing allowance. So the next thing is to come to the waistline and take your waist measurement divided by 4. Then I'll measure the dart here that I'm going to be cutting out. It is about 1.75 inch. I'm going to add it. I'll add extra 1 inch joining allowance. Then I'll come to the full length. I'm going to be taking the lower waist measurement divided by 4. Then I will add these darts that we are going to be cutting off. Then I'll add extra 1 inch for the joining allowance. Now I'm going to go ahead to connect these dots. So guys, after doing that, now on this point I'm going to go up by 1 inch. So I don't just want it to be flat at the hem of my top, so I just wanted to give it a little curve. So you go up by 1 inch and make a slanted line just like that. So this is it. Just extend this one. So this is it guys. This is all for the drafting. Now I'm going to make arrows here so that I will know which part is facing which part after I'm done cutting. Now I'm going to go ahead to cut this out.
Lions roaring in the morning sun, searching for a longer day. People feeling like the light has just come. We must never stop the way, yeah. Birds chirping and I hear my name, grasping into life. Life is happy but it's so insane. We must merely make a strive.
Guys, this is what I had after I was done cutting. You can see, so this is piece 1, this is piece 2, and we also have the center front and the side front. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead to label center front and side front. So now I'm going to be placing the front pieces aside, then we'll go ahead to draft at the back. The back is very easy. So I already have my pattern paper with my basic bodies. You see the armhole, I have the, this is the chest line, the bust point, the waistline, and the full length. So that is it for that. You see I have my darts. I already created the dart. Now the first thing I'm going to be doing to modify this now is on the waistline. I'm going to be going in by 1/2 inch. Then I'm going to be connecting to meet the bust point and the full length. So I'm doing this in order to eliminate any zip bulge, because I'm going to be putting a zipper in this top, so I don't want anything called zip bulge. Then for the zipper allowance, I'll mark 1.5 inch on all the sides and connect it. So this is going to be for the zipper allowance. So just write it down, the zipper. So after doing this, guys, the next thing I want to do is I'm going to bring the center front and the side front pieces. I'm going to be placing it on it so I can mark out, where the length is supposed to be. Just mark this out like this. Then you're going to align the side front on it like this. So try and do this where I don't have masking tape. I would have just used that to hold it down. So just try to align it well before you mark. Okay, now that we have gotten the point, I'm going to go ahead now to use the straight ruler to connect this line. So I'm going to be extending this line to the end. Extend it to the end. Now guys, the next thing I want to do is I'm going to be taking the body measurement. So I'm just going to come here and I will take the bust measurement divided by 4. I will be adding extra 1 inch for the joining allowance. Then I will come to the waistline. Make sure that you are taking your measurement on the second zipper line, not the first one. I will take the waist measurement divided by 4. I will measure the darts. I will be adding it. Then I will add extra 1 inch for the joining allowance. Then I will come to the full length line. I'm going to be taking the lower waist measurement divided by 4 and I will add the sewing allowance. Now I'm going to connect the dots. So guys, after doing this now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to be making a slanted line to meet these points. So from this line here, just watch what I'm doing. I'm just going to curve it out like this. I don't want the back to be straight, so I just want it to be a little bit curvy. So you're going to do it like that. Now on the full length line, I will go up by 1 inch, just the same way we did for the front piece. Then I will curve it out like this. Now I'm going to go ahead to cut this out. So guys, this is it. You can decide to cut out the dart, but for this tutorial I'm not going to be cutting it, so I just went ahead to label it the back. So this is it for the drafting. We are basically done. In my next tutorial, guys, I'm going to be using these patterns to cut on fabric, where I'll be sharing with you guys how to sew a corset top. Okay, let me know what you guys think about this video in the comment section. If you watch this video to the end, please don't hesitate to give me thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please endeavor to do so before you leave. Thank you so much guys for watching. I'm going to be seeing you all in my next video. Bye bye.